Like, that's cool.
One time, an ex of mine was in a billboard right outside my apartment, and I felt like I deserved it. I was like, yeah. I deserve this. Like, I'm a bad person. I need to feel this pain.
It was a billboard for the Steve Harvey show.
It was one of the 3 billboards for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Yeah. Which is a terrible movie.
Who was the cast member? Who was your ex?
It was one of the billboards.
It was one of the
billboards. It was a billboard for the
one
movie, but one of the billboards. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I can't talk about which one because I gotta keep her anonymous.
No,
but
I get it.
She burned in the movie, and I felt bad, but also I was like, well, you shouldn't have.
You
done
hated it so much. I
hate that movie so much.
I
hated it so.
It's so bad.
Most of our interactions is just me running into you on Sunset.
I ran into you. A few weeks ago,
Yeah.
I saw you before you saw me, and I could tell the light was shaded in a way where you could not tell who I was. So I got very excited, and I was like, "Hey, Brandon!" And I could see you had a moment
of
you're
like,
walking with someone like, "Oh shit, something's about to happen. I have to have an interaction with someone I don't want to." And I got very excited, but then I didn't know what to say.
But then
cool.
it was you.
Then it was me. I was like, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
And then you were just like, well, 3 Billboards just won a Golden Globe.
Oh yeah, that is what happened.
Yeah, I ran into you the night of the Golden Globes. And then you were like, well, I got to go home and
I got to tweet about it.
Be mad online.
It made the Moments tab on Twitter.
Yeah.
And so it was too much.
Oh, wait,
Moments
you had a
on
tweet on? Oh, I was loving all the tweets.
Yeah.
So.
I
probably loved yours.
I got
the
a lot of
tab
hate.
Stresses
what
me
was
out,
your tweet?
It does stress me out, but it was
like every time you go to search something, you're just assaulted by news.
Assaulted, yeah. It was like
True.
I'm actually happy 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri won the Best Picture Golden Globe because it gives us a chance to remember that most people are dumb sheep with trash opinions. And then I just like started a thread about how bad it was, and like this is an opportunity to remind people that there are actual good movies that people can talk about, and that also it's so much like Crash, that garbage movie that won Best Picture, that that if you hate the movie, you'll be on the right side of history. And so we just need to stay strong and understand that in history will prove us right.
Very inspiring.
I remember you watching it and being
it's so mad.
It's so bad.
But it's like a different kind of bad, and it's brought some problems into my life where like it's not like I just hate the movie. Like I hate if anybody liked it, and some people I know that I respect, I'll find out they liked it, and I'll be like, what is wrong?
It's like voting for Trump. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
Yeah, but I've realized too that like some people just saw a different movie, and like I think it's because they're a bad person. No, I'm just kidding. No, like okay, so one of my good friends who's very smart, like a very intelligent dude, and like we see eye to eye on pretty much everything. Loved it, and we just had the conversation where I pointed out all the things I didn't like about it, and by the end he was like, okay. I can't like unlearn the way you looked at it.
But that's what happens to me is I'll point out all the insane amount of problems with it, and they'll go, well, okay, that's all true, but I still liked it. And you're like, what are you holding on to?
Yeah.
Why do you have to like this terrible trash movie?
Yeah.
There's
what was the thing you hated about it most?
There are so many things. I'll start with 2. One is the flashback scene where Frances McDormand says, I hope you get raped. And then she does,
very heavy,
which is the worst flashback in the history of cinema. And then also the Australian wife, like the young Australian wife of Woody Harrelson, who then talks about his cock for a long time. It's like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
And how about
Woody Harrelson talks about his cock?
Well, they both talk about his cock, and she's a young Australian woman, and there's no reason why she's Australian because they're in Missouri.
Yeah. Everything
Woody
about
Harrelson
the movie makes no sense.
has been able to fuck too many young hot women.
Also, do you know Woody Harrelson's dad was a serial killer?
Really?
That's a real fun fact. So
I'm going to Google this immediately after the podcast.
Yeah.
I would say
how
this,
old
like
is his wife in the movie?
Like 25.
Yeah.
But it's also like
remember,
they have kids that are like older. Like it makes no sense.
Remember True Detective when Daddario is
I know you remember that.
Oh yeah.
Her titties are out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you remember that.
Lot. And Woody Harrelson, he was he's sitting down, has Alexandra Daddario's titties in his face.
Everything is bad about the movie. It's why is Peter Dinklage in the movie? Why are they calling him? Why are they making fun of his height?
Yeah.
What does he have to do with anything? Sam Rockwell tortured a black person and then punched a woman in the face, and then he's fine at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and
what is this movie about?
Exactly,
and beat the person.
But I did
beat
date
the
a billboard.
living shit out of a kid.
Yeah,
it's a movie about everybody that's good in the movie gets punished, and everybody that does something bad goes unpunished. Dude, Sam Rockwell's character, Okay, have you not seen the movie?
I haven't seen
Brandon,
it. No,
it's
Okay,
it's
so there's
legendary
I'm a
bad.
bystander
So let me
in
just
this
walk you through a couple
conversation.
plot points. Sam Rockwell's character does a ton of things. Blatant racist cop.
Okay.
Like, I mean, he beats the living shit out of this like the only likable person in the movie and throws him out a window, and then like
Punches a woman in the face.
yeah, punches a woman in the face. He gets
This is
like
early on?
he randomly gets like there's one black character in the movie, and it's this very likable like gift shop employee that works with Frances McDermott, and he just gets her thrown in jail for weed for like multiple days. Nobody bails her out, and then like
And she
she's
shows up and she goes, "I'm out of jail."
yeah, and then that's like it.
And
Like
then-
her
and
movie,
then-
her character is just in there to go to jail.
And then
for no
he makes
reason.
her go on a date with the only other black character in the movie, and the only reason they go on a date is because they're black. They're
Yeah.
not developed characters.
wow.
It's so racist. And the other black character calls white people cracker.
Yeah,
And a white person wrote this movie.
yeah, it was very clearly written by a British person that's like never bothered to go to the South. They've just seen like fried green tomatoes or something.
It's-
They're like, I got this.
It's also not funny. There are jokes that bomb. All the women are 19 and dumb. Like
Yeah.
his view of women is so crazy, and it's just not funny.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's not funny. There's a CGI deer in the movie for no
Is it
reason.
supposed to be funny?
Oh, the CGI deers were crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's supposed to be kind of funny. It's like
Well,
but
which even the premise of that is like really, really rough for me because
It
it's
is.
like the fact of what the movie's about, which they barely touch on. It's about a person who is raped and murdered, and
Yeah.
then they like she's not even. The movie's not about her, and they just like use that as a plot point, which is kind of fucked up.
it's super fucked up.
And then like there's all these comic bits. Okay, there's a scene where Frances McDermott's ex-husband comes in, who's like very
my
abusive.
God.
He's known to be like a woman beater, and he like tries to beat the shit out of her, and like the son has to like pull out a knife to
and
stop
hold
him,
it to his throat.
hold it to his throat, and then they like calm down. And then they're like goofing around about him later. They're like making fun of him, like, yeah, you and your young wife. And he's like, hey, don't make fun of her because she's young. And just like,
Dude,
like, and
it's
he's like
a
a goofy character after that. I'm like, he just tried to kill his ex-wife.
I
Like,
think it's
why
like
are we
I
laughing?
think it's like the problem I have with the movie is people think it's brilliant. I think it's almost as bad as The Room. Like I literally, it's obviously better made
It's
than
really
that,
tone
but
deaf.
it's that trippy and that weird. Where I'm like, this is one of the worst written things. The acting is not good. They have great actors who suck in the movie. It sucks.
If anybody likes it, like, make them. What you need to ask them is, what was the movie about? What was the lesson you learned from the movie? What's it about?
And they go, well, it's just about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's not about
It's not
anything.
about anything.
It's not about anything. And then so there's
It's
this.
supposed to
Okay,
be
I'll
like-
stop. I'll stop soon about this topic. But
Okay.
then so the whole redemption is like. So the whole thing just turns into this redemption story with like the fucked up cop is a piece of shit the whole time, did like unforgivable things, and then at the end he like catches a guy talking about like committing a rape that he thinks is the one, and like he's a cop, by the way. He's like off the force at this point, but like, so you're a cop and you hear a guy confessing to a rape in the booth behind you. What are you gonna do? First thing I would probably
Fellas,
do is
what you doing?
yeah. First thing you could probably do as a cop is pull out a voice recorder or call somebody and be like, "Hey, police officers, please come to this bar right now. Don't say anything. Follow him. Maybe find out where he lives. So many things." Instead, he goes and like orders a brewski, and then he like goes over and like picks a fight with him, and then like just gets his ass kicked. Like just gets the
Kicked
shit
in the
kicked out
literal
of him.
head,
and like and scratches the guy so he like gets his DNA.
which is inadmissible.
Which, by the way, he could have just let them leave the bar and just grabbed his glass.
Exactly. And then that guy didn't even do it.
Yeah,
It made no sense.
But then the movie ends. Spoiler alert! I don't give a shit, dude. You shouldn't see this movie. It's spoiler alert. But it ends with like they realize that it was the wrong guy, but they like go to kill him anyway. It's sort of like they're like in a
It's
car with a
such
shotgun,
garbage.
and you're like, oh, so yeah, your life is just worse. And I guess
But it's
everybody
like a
did something
statement
bad is
about
okay.
what, race or something?
I don't
What are
know.
we talking about? Anyway, you love the movie.
There's also this like awesome scene. This is my last one, but there's this awesome scene where like the main character goes and like firebombs the police station, which is wild. So she like firebombs the police station, and that the bad cop is inside. He had just been fired from the force. So like imagine a police station gets firebombed, and like the cops, everybody shows up, and there's 2 people there. One guy was inside. It's a recently fired cop. You're like, that would be the first person you think did it. He was there, and he's burned. Like, obviously, that's the guy who did it. Or the woman outside in a hoodie that's like sweating in the middle of the night.
Damn,
and neither of them get questioned whatsoever.
It's and I know that this is tough, Brandon, because you haven't seen it, but like if you saw it, you would understand our rage. It's like all I want to talk about is how bad this movie is.
I don't know how anybody liked it. It was wild. But yeah, we've talked a lot about that. And like there's probably people listening to this podcast that like the movie, and now they're just
we're helping them.
No, defend it. Email yeahbutstillpod@gmail.com.
There's not really a counterpoint. It's like disguised. It's dressed up really nicely as a good movie.
We're not going to talk about your argument for the movie. It's just sort of like we'll read
please
it.
do
well,
not.
You love to email.
Absolutely won't email.
What's that?
You love to read emails.
I love
You're an
reading
email head.
emails.
Yeah, actually, do not message us about why that movie is good.
Please email yeahbutstillpod@gmail.com. I just love reading emails. I'm not.
I'd be curious if somebody could
but just send an email into the motherfucking void. Because I do like reading emails.
The pod emails are good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like getting the pod emails.
It's fun because it's like, oh, people are listening and they're thinking about what you're saying.
I'm
and you're
lonely,
saying
and I'm
it.
like, hey, somebody's talking to me.
Yeah.
Jake, you're a Taylor Swift apologist.
I'm not an apologist. I'm just a fan.